tell you about what's happening with the man called Kunal Kamra. Viewers, first of all, the vandalism sparked by Kunal Kamra's jibe at Eknath Shinde is a disgrace, plain and simple. Let's get this straight, viewers. Nothing and absolutely nothing justifies violence or destruction or vandalism. Not Kangana Ranaut's office getting smashed and not the vandalism of the space where Kamra did his act. We know that Kunal Kamra was out there cheering when Kangana's office got bulldozed. Even that does not hand anyone a free pass to turn his world into a punching bag, viewers. The real villain here isn't just the act itself. It's the ecosystem that's been fanning these flames, and their hypocrisy stinks to the high heaven. And which is why let's turn the attention to the real clowns in the circus. The opposition is marching around like they invented tolerance. Just think about it, viewers. Congress, Uddhav's Shiv Sena and the TMC outraging about intolerance is peak comedy. Their stand itself is a joke. These are the same champs who've turned dissent into their personal candy. Flashback to Ambikesh Mahapatra dragged off for a cartoon that did not kiss the right boots, or Ketki Chitle, who was thrown in jail, and there are many others, you know the names. But what's amusing is that Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena, the party that made vandalism their morning yoga, is today giving gyan on tolerance and dissent. Viewers, let's first start with the Congress, the perennial chest thumpers of liberty and free speech. All pretty words until you peel back the layers. If you think emergency was ancient and you fold the anchor that, let's move ahead. Crackdown on dissent is the Congress's DNA. Even today, Congress-run states have kept the tradition alive by hounding journalists with defamation cases and going after anyone who steps out of the line. And what should we say about Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena, viewers? They don't even pretend to play nice. Their record on dissent is a legacy soaked in threats and thuggery. So when Congress and Shiv Sena cry about intolerance, it's not just laughable, it's actually insulting. These are the architects of shut up or else mindset. The ones who've turned dissent into a punching bag for decades. They don't get to cry democracy under attack when they've been the ones swinging that bat. Kangana Ranaut's ordeal was wrong. Kamra's attack is wrong. Full stop. But if anyone's stoking the fire, it's this ecosystem that has spent years building a system where disagreement isn't met with arguments, but with handcuffs, goons, or even worse, until they face their own reflection that's stained with the ink of gag orders and the blood of the beaten critic. They are just howling into the wind. Viewers, here's my 2 bits to Mr. Kamra. You're not just a flip-flopping stand-up comic. You're the opposition's accidental mascot. Cheering bulldozers one day, trying foul the next. Maybe your next set should be called Kunal Kamra, bulldozed by my own hypocrisy.
कुणाल कामरा को मैं अभी से नहीं जानता हूँ, जब वो हमारे पे क्रिटिसाइज करता था तब से मैं जानता हूँ। कुणाल कामरा ने हमारे ऊपर भी इसी प्रकार से टीका टिप्पणी की है। देखिए, मैं मानता हूँ कि एक फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन, अगर व्यक्तिगत तौर पर टीका नहीं की है तो टीका को स्वीकार करना चाहिए।
Let's open this up. Krishna Hegde, national spokesperson of the Shiv Sena Shinde faction. Akhil Chitre, leader of the Shiv Sena UBT, also joining us. Mr. Chitre, did you like this act of vandalism by the people who did this? What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, I would like to state that the song which was made on, now I got to know that it is Eknath Shinde, because when I heard it 7-8 times, I couldn't figure out that the song was on whom. Because in that Gaddar, Baap Chor, etc. was there in that song. Now I don't know how did the Shinde faction and the BJP Karyakartas found that this is on Eknath Shinde.
That's not the question, Mr. Chitre. That's not the question. The question is, if I don't like what you're saying, should you be beaten up?
Absolutely not.
Then how can you endorse this vandalism that your party has been doing, sir? Have you forgotten your own records?
Who's been endorsing? You're putting words in my mouth.
I'm not. I am showing you the mirror.
When did
Sanjay Raut, do you remember? Okay, do you know who Sanjay Raut is?
Yeah.
What he wrote in the Samna when the bulldozers
Ukhaad Diya,
demolished Kangana's office?
Yeah, Ukhaad Diya.
What does it mean?
I rightly and correctly know what had been written in Samna.
Sir, वो क्या था? क्या मतलब था उखाड़ दिया का?
No, it was not that some Karyakartas went there and vandalized it. It was the municipal corporation of Mumbai which had taken action on illegal construction.
Okay.
So you need to put the facts right.
That's right. The BMC is run by aliens.
No, it is not run
The government
by
has no control over the BMC. It takes orders from the chairman that's on the moon, not from anyone who's on this planet. Now, let me bring in Mr. Hegde. Mr. Hegde, what kind of intolerance is this? Just the other day, Eknath Shinde was speaking about the vandalism in Nagpur, and he said this is unacceptable. You can't resort to vandalism.
Pranesh, first of all, you cannot compare what happened in Nagpur to this. In Nagpur, around 35-40 policemen were injured, and some of them severely injured. There were shops burned, there were residences burned, there were 50 people who were arrested.
I did 5 debates on it.
And
it is condemnable. I am only asking you a larger question on basis of principle. Should we be endorsing, encouraging, acts like these? No. That's my question, sir.
Pranesh, today in the afternoon I circulated another video where the same Kunal Kamra is talking anti-nationally. He is talking about how he is against the people of our country, how he is against the administration, and how he is against the police. And as though they do no work, and it is Kunal Kamra who is sitting in the air-conditioned studio dishing out garbage, abuses and derogatory words. And if you see his video on what he did yesterday, there were derogatory words, there were insulting words, humiliating words, and also abuses.
Mr. Hegde,
and with the Shivsena Pranesh.
Mr. Hegde, I have known you for some time. I just want to tell you, sir, I am not a Kunal Kamra fan. But that does not mean that I sit here and clap.
No
when
one can
vandals attack his office.
If what you are saying is true,
you are there in the government, sir. Book Kunal Kamra, send him to jail. But you can't, justify this kind of vandalism.
No, are you trying to justify him, whether it is Ranveer Allahabadiya, whether it is Kunal Kamra, or that other boy who, abuses Hindu gods and goddesses? You can't. These are people in the name of stand-up comedy.
Mr. Hegde, why don't you jail Kunal Kamra, sir? Jail him. Follow the law of the land. Book Kunal Kamra, send him to jail.
Jail him.
But no, 1 minute. You can't, Mr. Hegde, just because, 1 minute.
Jail, not only for this case, for other cases also.
Yeah, that's fine. Let the law of the land follow. But 1 minute, sir, vandalism is not okay. It is not okay. And Kamruzaman Chaudhary, why is the Congress complaining, sir? आप लोग अपना record भूल गए? आप लोगों ने क्या किया? Sedition cases लगा दिया वो people who were protesting.
Pranesh, we have lost the elections because of certain issues that you have just now quoted. But that does not make sense that in today, when the entire Maharashtra have elected a new government to the state, then there should have been a government with a difference. Kunal Kamra might be a satire, he is doing a comedy show. You can term him at best as a politically vested mindset he's having. But what justifies the breaking down of the Habitat studio, giving him death threats, then what's the difference between Kunal Kamra and Nupur Sharma right now? Those people who, we also have criticized people threatening Nupur Sharma at one point in time. Today also we are criticizing people who are trying to threaten and abuse Kunal Kamra. There are differences between how you approach things.
Kamruzaman Chaudhary ji, sir, 1 minute, sir, 1 minute. आपके, sir, कांग्रेस के मुंह से ये टॉलरेंस और फ्री स्पीच अच्छा नहीं लगता है. अब बात निकली है तो दूर तक जाएगी, लेकिन वो उतना समय नहीं हमारे पास, 2-3 मिनट ही है, नहीं तो मैं आपको फर्स्ट अमेंडमेंट के बारे में बताता, और भी रिसेंट एग्जांपल भी है, बट उतना समय नहीं है. डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, वेरी क्विकली, and then I'll bring in Guru Prakash and Mr. Mondal.
Yeah, look, let me be very clear. Kunal Kamra is a coward and a psychopath. But in going after him and arresting him, all what the state would be doing is to become another Kunal Kamra. The state is better than that. Democracy should always be better than its delinquent. In Kamra versus state, there are two entities and both merit going into briefly. Number one, first Kunal. I said Kunal is a coward because a stand-up who should be standing up for the rights and free speech of citizens is right now lying low in a state that arrests dissenters, activists, journalists, publishers at the drop of a hat. Kunal is a coward because he never dares open his mouth against the DMK when it arrests YouTubers because they conduct a controversial interview. Kunal is a coward because he never dares open his mouth against the Congress when a man is arrested for merely calling a politician penguin. Against the TMC when a professor is arrested for sharing a Mamata cartoon and acquitted after 11 years. Against the CPIM when 120 people are booked for social media posts criticizing the Chief Minister. Against AAP when journalists are arrested for their stories highlighting corruption. Wrecked by guilt. These hypocrites go after anyone who exposes them and their kings and queens, exposes them for what they are. Hunchbacks who cower at the mere mention of sheesh mahal or liquor scam or of this incestuous armchair socialist scum activist club that throws some crumbs at them for a few goofs. So according to these rent-a-penny actor, activists and stand-ups who say they speak truth to power, only Modi is in power. Kejriwal and Mamta and Stalin and Vijay are not. Kamra is also a psychopath because he enjoys the suffering of others at the hands of the state, even as he wants them to protest against his suffering at the hands of a state.
I'm sorry to interrupt the last 30 seconds on the show. Guru Prakash, what do you make of what has happened?
No, Pranesh, I think our party leadership have made it sufficiently clear that we condemn the vandalism that was done, but we have to stress that such reaction stems from Kunal Kamra's reckless provocation. No. And we have to understand Mr. Kunal Kamra is a habitual offender. This is not the first time that he has done this.
No, Guru Prakash, he may be, but you see, we should steer clear of this action-reaction mindset. It is a vicious loop, and it is not right. It's not right on the constitution that we were talking about a little while ago. Gentlemen, I thank all of you for joining us on India Upfront. The news are with Navita Kumar on the other side.